Some of you may have issues to deal with as far as equipment, because very few times do you get the perfect equipment in a percussion section. You may not even have a bass clarinet or bassoon, stuff like that. So it becomes a puzzle for percussionists to figure out, for the conductor to figure out the combination of how hard to hit while still playing light, or what mallet to use to make it sound light but still project out. I very rarely write in mallet choice. Every once in a while I'll write in mallet choices for percussion, but I usually like to leave it up to the percussionists because they know the room that they're playing in, they know how loud their clarinet and French horn players play, and they know their own playing. So I welcome you to just do whatever it takes to sound like a leader with the lightness and character that we're looking at. If that means switching mallets, if that means a heavier touch on the way you're playing it, then that's fine. So let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 3. I had a percussionist in my ensemble that actually played a lot like you. What they did was, I can see them moving in time, but they weren't delivering the mallet all the way down to the key. So I knew they knew what they were doing, but they just either didn't have the confidence that it'll come out right, or didn't have the conviction to hit the floor below the keys. And it was real hard to get them out of their shell, because most musicians, I think, are introverts. They spend so much time practicing and maybe studying scores and not socializing that much, that a lot of times we're not like acting majors. Those of you who have been to a college of the arts and have to deal with acting majors, they're a totally different type of people. They're extroverts. And a lot of times it's hard to get musicians to come out of the shell without embarrassing them, so that they retreat even more. So you have to really know your students to bring that out. But what you can do, and what I found is helpful, is to give them some type of story where they're a character and not necessarily themselves. So someone give me a little story about this lyrical section where we can give characters to the 3 individuals that are playing. Who's got the wildest imagination here? We want it light. Okay, so we have a story. It needs to be light in nature, and it needs to include a trio of people with one person leading, or it could be animals. It could be little fuzzy animals. But a trio with one person or animal or character in the front leading the other 2.
Well, if you take 3 little kids at a playground, most little kids are very imaginative. So, even though there's just a jungle gym in front of them, they may see like a jungle-scape or some sort of wild, landscape that they're exploring and navigating through very slowly and very cautionarily. But they're still, the one person is leading them. They come across, that long wooden bridge across that great expanse, and they're tiptoeing across it, that kind of effect.
Okay, give us the names of these 3 children.
Jonathan, Heather, and Dan.
Okay. So which one is between Jonathan, Heather, and Dan? Which one is the leader? Which one is in front going?
Jonathan is leading them.
Is taking point. Okay. So you are Jonathan. You're taking point, and you're leading. You're leading your 2 friends through this mystical jungle that you see in front of you. And if you don't go, they don't go. Let's try this one more time and really show them the way. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 1. and this, I gave them parts before the ink was dry. When this piece was finished, 5 minutes later, I was sending up parts. So I just want to make sure. Do you come in the second measure of D? Right, okay, that's where they come in. But I see you hesitating and not coming in with them. So, yeah, I'm giving a bar for nothing. That's D. And then beat 1 is open, and then you come in with them. So you have the exact same thing that they do. Okay? All right, one more time. This is D. 1, 2, 3. He's afraid of making a mistake. That's a horrible condition for a student to have. Absolutely horrible, even for a professional musician. I mean, certainly we practice enough so that we make as few mistakes as possible. But what I've found very helpful is I go to them and I turn the music around. And I say, I want you to play double forte, what you just played, every single note. And if you miss notes, I don't care. I just want you to throw caution to the wind. 1, 2, 3, 1. That's with the trio again. This is a trio. 1, 2, 3, 1. Much better. Playing with fear is probably the number one reason we're limited in expressing to an audience. Actually, the only thing that comes across is the fear. I don't know if you've felt that when someone gets on stage, if you can see that they're a bit nervous, it makes you nervous. And that's the only thing that comes across. And then you applaud at the end, oh, it's over, and he survived, or she survived. So always try to get your players to play without fear, especially in contemporary music, because that's the scariest stuff to play, right? If we're playing a Sousa March or Kenneth Alfred or you know, something that sounds familiar, that's in B flat major, we're not afraid of it, so we can have fun with it and express with that. But as soon as you get something that sounds a bit weird and has a few more flats in it than we're used to, or heaven forbid sharps, we begin to get nervous and we withdraw in ourselves and we don't bring out the music. And again, it's more of a problem with contemporary music, which is the only kind of music that I compose because I'm contemporary. So using any technique that you can to sort of break down that fear is not only going to help my music, but help any music that you play, including the more familiar stuff. So these themes come back with a slightly different attitude, and then they all combine on top of one another, an invertible counterpoint. And I know when a lot of you were listening to this, you were thinking, well, it's good in theory to have multiple themes going at the same time, but when you're dealing with younger players, it's very difficult to make it sound right. There's some type of security in numbers when you have the whole woodwind section playing the theme together in octaves and everybody else is doing umpa. I understand that. What I found is that it's often not as interesting, but more importantly, it doesn't stretch the ears of the musicians, certainly, or of the audience. So I'm going to have them play where all the themes combine together at J. We'll have them play it separately, and then we'll put them together. and we'll see if maybe you guys hear something different or hear a little better. Maybe the people on the web. And by the way, if you're on the web, banddirector.com has a Facebook page, and you can write in comments, and we'll get them here almost immediately, and maybe able to answer some of your questions about what we're doing here with the whole commissioning project, or about contemporary music and the whole aspect of commissioning the composer and the scariness of doing something totally new, So let's look at J, and let's start with our A theme. Hopefully you know what that is. Bum 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 beam ba-dum ba-dum ba-dum. Let's have those people start off. Okay? This is J. I'll give you a count of 4, and then everybody's in who plays that A theme. All right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's have the B theme people. This is at J. Just those people. 1, 2, 3. Obviously a more angry part of the piece, and you're bringing that out great with your articulation, with the speed of the trill, and the way you're playing way on the front side of the beat. Fantastic. Let's have those two people play together. A theme and B theme. 1, 2, 3. Let's have our trio melody people play their theme. I'll give you a count of 4, and then that's a downbeat of J, and you can come in on the 4th beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, J, 2, 3. Our 3 characters from our story, Jonathan, Heather, and Dan, as it were. So we know 2 of them are a bit more aggressive, and the 3rd one is a bit gentler. They may not be agreeing in this particular part, but let's hear those 3 themes playing together. Dan, Heather, and Jonathan. 1, 2, 3. Everybody else who has stuff behind that is supporting that conflicting opinions of the different characters.